Hi, this is Andrea. I am the mother to a beautiful autistic daughter, and I believe in a better future for her and all other neurodivergent young people. So I hope this is not your first time listening, but if it is, I'm also one of the many parent advocates for neurodiversity in Oxfordshire, UK. Being an advocate allows me to use my voice for my daughter, for other parents, for neurodivergent individuals themselves, and for professionals. Welcome to season 2 of the Neurodiverse Voices podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Neurodiverse Voices podcast. Today, I have a wonderful guest, another special guest, because most of my guests are very, very special. Um, and he's going to tell us more about his journey. Hi, Alex.
Hello,
Welcome. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Right. So I met Alex, just to give everyone a bit of a background, in a beautiful day. It was a neurodiversity day organized by Renboga. And we had a chat there, and we thought it would be a good idea to have Alex sharing his experience. So, Alex, let's start. Are you ready?
I am ready, yeah.
Great. So let's start with your personal journey and your childhood. So, Alex, can you share what your childhood was like growing with autism? And were there any key moments that shaped your understanding of yourself and your autism?
I was diagnosed at 5 with autism and had a very good childhood. I was different to children my age. I didn't like loud noises. Being in the car and the radio was on while we were all talking, I had to have the radio switched off when people started to talk. I didn't like many foods due to textures and smells. I lined up all my cars in colour order and watch the same DVDs over and over. At the time, I didn't know this was autism.
That sounds quite familiar, and with my daughter. Thank you for sharing. So, at what age did you first realize that you were different? So, you mentioned that you were 5 when you were diagnosed. Um, how did that affect you during school and your school time?
I knew I was different at the age of 9. My mum didn't tell me till I had autism until I was 10, when I could start to understand what it was. Uh, School was both good and bad. Good because routine based, breaks and lunch at the same time every day, timetables the same every day and every week, and I like routine. I found speaking in class stressful, so I was extremely quiet and shy, and hated taking part in school plays. I did have one really good friend throughout primary school, so this helped with the difficult social side of school. Education was a challenge, and I did lots of extra tuition to help me.
So that must have been amazing to have a friend who advocated for you and was there by your side, right?
It was brilliant having a friend like it was brilliant having a friend like that.
Yeah. Are you still in touch?
Um, we're still in touch, but we're not as we're not as close as we were back in the day.
It's good. And you have that remarkable person who supported you through the school year. So that's great. So how did your family and close friends support you through your journey of growing up autistic?
My family and close friends were all very supportive of me having autism, as my parents had disclosed it to them. This meant that people could understand why I was different. My mum became the SEN governor in order to try and influence SEN policies and to have a voice on the governing body to help other children like me. She wrote a parent guide on what being on the SEN register meant and what support was available back then. when it was school action plus and statements. Families didn't always understand what this meant or the difference between what support children could get. She wanted to make sure everyone was getting the support they needed, not just me. My parents have always celebrated everything I achieved, even being able to stand up in school and say a sentence in the school play, and supported me with the things I found difficult. We did lots of role play and talking through different scenarios.
Yeah. I am quite emotional for some reason, but I'm very glad that you had such a supportive family and kind of resonate. So well done to your parents and to everyone who has been supporting you until now. Did you face any misconceptions about autism as a child? And if so, how did you navigate those situations?
I didn't face any misconceptions about autism as I wasn't really aware I was autistic until the age of 10. But I am certain my parents did. My mum my mum was once asked, "Will he ever be normal?"
This world really has to change. And yeah, with your mom, advocating for you and having advocated for you all your life, and me advocating for my daughter and all the other amazing parents. And I think this podcast as well. So it's very sad to hear these kind of comments, but all of us together, sharing our experiences and embracing and celebrating your differences will definitely make the world a better place in the future.
It will do.
Yeah. Can you share any significant milestones or achievements that made you feel proud during your youth, despite any challenges you faced? And I'm pretty sure you have some.
Going to mainstream primary school and passing my SATs at primary school. Learning to ski. Passing my GCSEs at secondary school. Completing a 3-year media course at City of Oxford College. Passing my driving test and getting a weekend job. Getting a full-time job. And driving a van recently.
Wow.
That's great. I'm scared of driving a van. I never tried, and I think I will. I never will. Yeah, that's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it, thinking about comments like, when is he ever going to be normal? What's normal, isn't it? So well done. You should be really proud of yourself. So moving on to challenges, what were some of the most difficult aspects of growing up with autism during your teenage years?
I went to an all-boys school and I was different. During my time at secondary school, I was bullied because I was different and didn't fit in, so these were difficult years for me.
And how did your autistic traits manifest in school, and what challenges did you have with the education system?
I struggled in class socially, and I found it harder making friends. I didn't fit in and didn't know how to fit in. I also struggled with the learning side of things at school, so had many years of extra tuition outside of school.
Back to you being in a boys only school, and is it okay if I run out of script a little bit now? The script of the questions, of course. Do you think that if you were with boys and girls, that would have made any difference, or not really?
It might have made a bit of a difference with it being mixed and not having as it might have made it a bit easier.
And can I ask what were you picked on?
Um, my hair colour, the way I talked, the way I looked, just everything.
Yeah, it really breaks my heart to hear things like this. I'm sorry you had to go through that. In terms of we talked about social situations that you struggle to fit in. So how did you handle and overcome these situations?
I've experienced many difficulties in social situations. By practicing them and talking about them beforehand have helped me overcome them and what may happen in them. I always try and have a plan B if things start to go wrong. So, for example, if I'm at a music festival and I lose one of my friends, we'll have a meeting point in a certain area and we'll meet at that time if we lose each other. So that's a plan B. Or at football, if I lose my dad, I'll ring him and we'll meet somewhere which I know.
Yeah, it's about finding the ways for you to feel safe and secure, um, and to help you really with each of the circumstances in where you are at. So, in terms of impact of society, um, how is society's perception of autism? What was the impact that society's perception on autism had on your mental health and personal growth?
Autism has always been a positive impact on my mental health because I'm very open about it and it has never been talked about negatively at home. This has given me confidence to talk about it publicly and raise awareness in any way I can. As a family, we have dealt with it as a difficulty, not a disability.
Yes, and that's the way to do it, because it's by being positive that we are able to better support you. Thanks for sharing. So, in terms of your autistic traits, are there specific traits that you feel define who you are today, both in positive and challenging ways?
Yes, there are lots of traits that I have today. Routine is key for me.
Mhm.
I like going to work. I come home for a run, then go to the gym. I do this most nights of the week. I'm also a season ticket holder for Reading FC,
Oh,
so most
okay.
Saturdays I go to football. If I didn't have a routine, I'd struggle. Foods I won't eat because of their texture.
Mhm.
I struggle with change, but I've learned to deal with it in a way.
Can I be a bit nosy and ask what type of foods you don't get well on with texture?
Eat oranges, grapes, tomatoes. Uh, I don't I don't eat salads at all. Like I don't eat go near salads. Jelly. I won't eat jelly.
Um, all of them, you cannot really know what to expect because the flavor can change, isn't it? So a tomato might be a bit more acid than another. So there's always that difference between the food itself. So
Yeah.
it's not. And do you what are your safe foods?
Pasta, pizza, burgers, pie.
Yeah.
I like a roast dinner.
Nice.
I've started to add to my roast dinners. So I recently started having broccoli and parsnips.
Yeah. Is there anything that has always been one of your favorites? So, for example, my daughter, she loves Jaffa cakes. It's always her safe food, even though this week she started saying no to Jaffa cakes. So I don't know what's changed, but she's throwing them now, so she doesn't want them. But is there any food that's been like your favorite food from a very young age?
I like. I do. I really like chocolate as a food, but when I was younger, I had to cut that out of my diet due to the way it was due to the way it was making me, and we had to go. We went to this lady in London, and she said that I needed to cut certain foods out because it wasn't helping me with my. It wasn't helping me.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And can I ask another question out of the script of questions? Because you mentioned football a couple of times. Is there what's your favorite team?
So my favourite team are Reading FC. I've been a season ticket holder since 2008.
So what do you do as a? I'm sorry, because I like football, but I don't understand much. What is the function of a season ticket holder?
So a season ticket holder, we pay for a seat and we sit in the same seat.
Right. Okay. I thought it was a like a job or a role. I'm sorry.
So we sit in the same seat at home games, and we go to away games as well. And I also raise awareness at the football club around autism. I've done lots of interviews there.
Yeah, I'm sorry about my ignorance about football. I learned something new today. Thank you. In terms of your sensory sensitivities, how do they affect your day-to-day life? And have you found any strategies that work well for managing them?
The sensory side of things was hard when I was young. Since I've started understanding more about autism, I've learned how to cope with them. Loud noises was a huge problem for me when I was younger, but I now work on loud machinery in my job, and it doesn't cause me a problem. So today I was using a hedge cutter and a blower.
That's quite loud. Do you use any ear defenders, any protections? I'm assuming so.
I have to use ear defenders and protection, and it doesn't bother me nowadays.
So it's the more with my daughter, I feel that as well. That the more you do something, the more adapted she becomes to what it is. So yeah, that's good here. And can I ask what do you do in your job?
So I'm a grounds maintenance operative for the council.
Oh, interesting. And how long ago have you started the job?
So I've been doing my job since January.
Right, from the beginning of the year. And you enjoying it?
Yes, I love it. I love being outside. I love the routine of going to the same places, but we do it on different days, and we've got set routes. So I like that routine, seeing the set routes and doing them on the days which we go and do them.
So good to see. And now let's talk about the National Autistic Society, because Alex, you are an ambassador. So how did you become an ambassador of the National Autistic Society, and what is your role?
So my older brother had just become an ambassador for the National Autistic Society just before me in 2018. I just made a film at college for my final major project called My Autism Journey. He sent it to the National Autistic Society as he liked it so much. And once they'd seen it, they then asked if I wanted to become an ambassador. My film is on YouTube, and it's had over 6,000 views to this day. So
That's amazing. I will share the link. I will share the link for it. So it's My Autism Journey, right?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone should watch that. You mentioned it to me when we met. I have to say I haven't had the chance to, but I will for sure. And as an ambassador, what do you see as the most important messages that need to be conveyed about autism awareness and acceptance?
Educating people about autism acceptance, helping people understand autism, that every person with autism is different. We are not all the same and have different strengths and weaknesses. I want autism to be accepted more widely in society. I've been on TV and radio talking about autism, some of it around football and what clubs can do to support fans with autism. I've contacted festival organisers and offered advice on how they can be inclusive. I'm always finding ways to raise more awareness. There's still lots to be done until society is fully inclusive.
Yes, absolutely. And in terms of the football, again, me going back to football, I'm asking because you might have listened to my episode about the inclusive rugby. There's some sessions for children with special educational needs in Killington at Gosford All Blacks. So, is there anything that, for example, Reading Football Club is doing already to be inclusive?
So they've now got Swings and Smiles coming to their games, their next few games at home, and they're setting up a sensory room in the ground so that people can go to a sensory room.
Yeah. And is that for young people or for older generations?
For all the generations, they're doing it for now.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good to see. Yeah, because we very much need more of that in sports and everywhere really, and it's really admirable you finding ways of using your connections to raise more and more awareness and making everything more inclusive for autistic people. So how do you feel about the representation of autistic people in the media and popular culture, and how would you like it to see being improved?
Representation in the media is more positive, but there's definitely room for improvement. I would like to see it become more talked about within all areas of media. It's good to see people like Melanie Sykes, who has an autistic son, and Christine McGuinness talking about their own recent diagnosis. They make it easier for others to say, yes, I have that too, instead of feeling they can't say anything or being embarrassed about it.
Yeah, that's very true. I watched Christine McGuinness documentary recently, and yes, I really liked it. And I also like Chris Packham, the Inside Our Autistic Minds documentary is really, really interesting, and everyone should see it because it just shows how different every autistic person can be.
I watched that. I thought it was a great programme.
It was, yes. And it's available on BBC iPlayer, so everyone can watch it. What advice would you give to other young autistic people who may be struggling with their identity and self acceptance at the moment?
Once you start to learn about autism and what it brings, you'll slowly learn about the positive things autism has that makes us special. It's good to be different. I would advise them to talk to their family and friends, and that would be a really good place for them to start.
Yeah, because there's nothing wrong about them. All they need is understanding and the right support to be able to thrive. Yeah, great. So now let's talk a bit more about you, which we did already, but diving a bit more into the emotional side of the interview. So who is your biggest support on your journey? And I think I know the answer.
My family has been the biggest support on my autism journey, and they've been brilliant over the years. They've embraced it and educated themselves and supported me in every way possible.
Yeah, that's really good. How do you treat yourself with regards to your well-being? I think you mentioned that already.
I go to the gym and run every day. This keeps my well-being great. I also talk through any worries I might have with my family and girlfriend. Just talking to someone helps massively.
Yeah, definitely. That's as you said, that's the best way to start. And sports and exercise are a really good way to keep us healthy mentally. And who is your biggest inspiration?
My parents, as they have supported me lots along the way.
I'm not surprised. And if you were a superhero or had a superpower, what would that be, or who would that be?
I would want to be Superman because he can fly and he's from another planet, which makes him different, and it's good to be different.
That's very true. Very true. And then you could just very quickly go all around the world and raise awareness everywhere.
I would do that. I would definitely fly around to different places and raise awareness.
Great. And what are your hopes for the future?
I hope to see more autistic people in full-time employment. I also hope that one day autism will be talked about in very positively in all areas of society, and that the world will be more inclusive and less judgmental than it is today.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Those are my hopes for the future as well. And finally, if your heart had a voice, what would it tell us?
Autism is a very positive thing to have in life. I enjoy being different to other people.
Is there anything else you would like to share with us, Alex?
I've recently started to make TikTok videos to show people what days out are like, and I've been making videos when I've been going to theme parks and zoos to help them see what things go on.
Yeah. And you've also shared some of your summer festival experiences, wasn't it?
Yes, I did. I've shared quite a few of my festival experiences, and I'm just planning on doing more videos and making more content and sharing lots of different content.
You want to share your username?
So my TikTok is Alex Autism. My X is Alex Autism, and my Instagram is Alex Richardson Autism.
So, listeners, you know what to do. Go follow Alex on Instagram, X, and TikTok, and continue, looking out for his journey. And and I'll share all the links as well on the podcast episode upload. Alex, thank you so much. I am sorry if I got a bit emotional and if I had a bit of a blank. It was really good to interview you. Great pleasure. And maybe we can have another interview in 1 year time and see where you are at with your journey.
Thank you for having me as a guest. And yes, that sounds really good to do. I'd be really happy to do that.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
What an episode this was. I started setting up for this interview 2 hours in advance to ensure that when Alex arrived, everything would go smoothly, as I did not want to stress him out. Well, to start with, the microphone he was using did not connect well with the software. And for some reason, I got very nervous. I think subconsciously I wanted to ensure that Alex was not overwhelmed by anything, and I ended up putting a whole lot of pressure on myself. So I blanked a few times. I got emotional as Alex was telling me his story, and I am so grateful to Alex, who was so supportive and a lot more relaxed than myself, and to his mom, who was also present and helped a lot by talking to me. Thank you both very much from the bottom of my heart. I thought I would share it because I promised you that I would always be authentic, and I have no issues showing my vulnerability. And if more people would show their vulnerability, this world would be better. I was so touched by this interview and Alex's personal journey. I think I am raising my daughter in a similar way to the way his parents raised him. His story inspires me so much that I have no words to describe it. Please watch his video, My Autism Journey, and follow him on social media to continue looking out for his journey and his great work raising awareness in a neuroaffirming way. Thank you for listening to the Neurodiverse Voices podcast. The next and final episode of Season 2 will be out on the 14th of December with my guest, Leila Moini. Leila is ADHD, a human rights lawyer, and the founder of Bake to Explore. We talked about many topics, including her passion for equality, diversity, and inclusion, and how menopause can impact neurodivergent traits. Don't miss it on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts in 2 weeks' time. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.